Hello everybody, I'm Melissa and welcome back to Book Bar and welcome to another Trope Tuesday recommendation video. Today I'm going to be talking about dislike to love, hate to love, enemies to lovers. Some form of we don't like each other, but in the end, there's a fine line between love and hate books. So yeah, first one I'm going to talk about is a new release called Gridlocked on the Gridiron by Denton. This follows Lucia and Colton, and Lucia is engaged and has her dream job working as an analyst for a football team until her engagement is broken because her ex is a cheating jerkface, and he gets her fired from her team because obviously he's the star quarterback, so they think that he's more important than she is. But her boss is awesome and gets her a job working for another football team. That football team happens to be her ex's rival's team, and things are gonna go from there, and they're gonna not like each other, but then they're gonna end up having to fake date, and it's adorable. I loved it. Fantastic. Definitely one you should pick up. Then we have A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. This is the first book in the Sacred Stones trilogy. I believe they're all going to follow the same couple, so the whole series. The second book is out. I need to read it. But this follows Arwen, and Arwen is, she is a healer, I believe. And yeah, she's a healer. And she lives in I don't remember which kingdom she lives in, but she hates the Onyx King, like absolutely hates him, thinks he's a horrible, horrible human being. And her brother, she believes her brother has died, but one day he shows back up at home, and they end up going on the run, and but they leave something behind, so she runs home, and she is captured by the King's Guard, and ends up, one of them is severely injured, and she's like, I'll heal him, let me go, or let me heal him, I'll go with you, I'll be your prisoner, basically. And she ends up in prison, and in prison she meets this guy who is helpful towards her. Turns out that he has a little bit of a secret, and there was a reason he was in the prison. But fantastic. I'm not going to say who the hero is, but yeah, definitely dislike, enemies, lovers vibes. Then we have Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov. Laura Pavlov writes a great dislike to love. Only Mine, the 5th book in her Honey Mountain series, On the Shore, the 3rd book in the Cottonwood Cove series, but Loving Romeo is the 1st book in her new series, Magnolia Falls. And this follows boxer Romeo, and next door to Romeo's shop, Demi ends up creating a coffee shop next door, and Demi and Romeo don't like each other because Demi's family was awful towards Romeo and caused some problems for Romeo in the past. And her family ends up being really awful just overall, and she realizes that. But yeah, it was phenomenal. Great time. Boxer, hero. And she helps him with his nutrition because he's training for this really big fight. Then we have Spark of the Everflame by Penn. This is the 1st book in the Kindred Curse saga. The whole saga follows the same couple, and it is phenomenal. This follows DM, who is a mortal living in a city, and she hates the Descended, who are people that are descended from the gods. And yeah, things are gonna happen between her and one of the Descended, and things might not be exactly what they seem for young DM. Next up, we have, this one's more dislike, distrust, and that is King of Sloth by Huang. This is the 1st book, or the 4th book in the Kings of Sin series. This follows Javier and Sloane, and Sloane does not like Javier. She thinks he is this rich kid playboy, and it's just caused all sorts of problems for her. But, of course, there's some underlying emotions there. But yeah, love this one. Love this whole series, to be honest. So, yes. Next up is Burnout by Rebecca Jenshak. This follows Onyx and Avery. And Onyx is a grumpy BMX rider, and Avery is a very sunshiny, pink, sparkly gymnast, Olympic gymnast. And they get off on the wrong foot because Onyx just thinks she's too much. He does not realize that she is an Olympian. And when Nox's best friend suggests, why don't you train with her? He might say some really negative things about gymnasts, and she's like, F you, dude, get out of here. But of course, they're gonna train together. Things are gonna happen. It was fantastic. Next up is one where she literally tries to unalive him, and that is Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. This is the first book in her, I can't even think of what it's called, but her Mafia series. Brutal Birthright, that's what it's called. This is the first book in her Brutal Birthright series. This follows Callum and Ada, and Ada is the princess of the Italian Mafia, and Callum is the future head of the Irish Mafia in Chicago. And Ada and her brothers sneak into Callum's house for Nessa's birthday party, and Ada may or may not accidentally set fire to their library and steal something that Callum really, really wants to keep. And some things happen, and basically they inadvertently, or not inadvertently, start a little bit of a war. And their dads agree that the two of them need to get married because they don't realize what it would be like if they were in like a true mafia war. And she might learn a little bit of a weakness about him and use that to her advantage on their wedding day. But yeah, I love this one. This is probably still to this day my favorite Sophie Lark book. I've read and loved a lot of her books, but this one, just there's something about it. And I know like a lot of people don't love this one, but this one will always hold a special place in my heart. Next up is Coldhearted Boss by R.S. Gray, and this follows Ethan and Taylor. And Taylor and Ethan have a moment at a bar, and she may or may not steal from him. And then she shows up at a construction site and pretends to be a man and is like, I'm gonna do this. And he learns really quickly that she's not, and knows that who she is. And yeah, he is just mean to her. I mean, obviously, there's a reason he doesn't like her. She stole from him. But yeah, it is so good. Definitely like an underrated book that I feel like I don't hear people talk about because it is a little bit older. Like it came out like 2018, I think. So yeah, loved it. Phenomenal. Next up is The Baby Blitz by Lex Martin. This is the third book in the Varsity Dad series. This follows Magnolia and Michael, and Magnolia and Michael don't like each other. Magnolia really doesn't like Michael, and you learn why like as the story goes on. He had said something to her ex-boyfriend that she overheard, and is like, she was shocked and has hated him ever since then. And they end up at a wedding together, and you know, they might end up deciding for one night they're gonna call a truce and they're gonna hook up. And of course, as you can tell from the title, The Baby Blitz, something's gonna happen at that wedding. And yeah, it was so good, so fun. I love that whole series. That one definitely has like dislike to lovers vibes. And then the final one is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This follows Brianna and Jacob, and Jacob. And Brianna is the best friend of Alexis in book one. But she is an ER doctor and is about to become head of the department after Alexis stepped down. Until another doctor comes to work there, and she believes that he is there to take her job. He is like, no, I don't want your job. I don't want to be head of anything. My anxiety is too high for that. So they get off on the wrong foot. He writes her letters. Things go from there. He has a 3-legged dog. I love this. Definitely a great one. But yeah, those are my 10 recommendations. Now I'm going to go with 4 books I have on my TBR. The first one is The Simple Wild by K.E. Tucker. I know I have not read The Simple Wild yet. What have I been doing with my life? Who knows? Next, I have Unbreak My Heart by Nicole, Jacqueline. I know that this is angsty, love triangle, messy, toxic. So I'm saving it for like when I'm in the mood for that. Then I have Yours Until Dawn by Teresa Mediros. I believe this is Beauty and the Beast retelling. I love a good historical. And the last one is Disgrace by Brittainy Cherry. I think I said this in another one of my videos. I want to read all of Brittainy Cherry's backlist, and that is one of the ones that I have not read. So yeah. I don't know if any of those are actually dislike to love or what, but that's what Goodreads tells me. So yeah, If you made it to the end of this video, leave me the knife emoji because, you know, why not? And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. It really helps me out, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Bye.